Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Blaze World podcast, your home for passionate hockey talk, reaction to the action, and everything in between. I'm Danny, and today we're diving into a topic that's been setting the hockey world on fire this past week. If you've been anywhere near social media, you've probably seen the article that's caused quite a stir, especially among women in the hockey community. The piece has sparked huge backlash from female fans who felt misrepresented, misunderstood, or just plain dismissed. So today, we wanted to have an open, honest conversation of why that article hit such a nerve, what it says about the way women's voices in hockey are covered, and how the game's culture is evolving both on and off the ice. We're not doing this alone. We've got some incredible guests joining us today, voices from the hockey community who've been leading the conversation online, bringing real insight into what it means to be a woman in today's hockey fandom. So buckle up. This one's going to be passionate, thoughtful, and maybe a little bit fiery. Let's get into it. So, welcome to Blaze World. I'm Danny. Obviously, we've got the normal three with me. So, we've got Dan and Sam, and as well as Luke. But tonight, we've got some special guests, as mentioned in our introduction. We've got Kate from Manchester. We've got Jen, who is our regular Blaze fan, as well as
Hello.
Laura. And then we've got Sophie from the Nottingham Panthers, just up the M1.
I
And
think,
then Hannah,
can
just
we just
going down
phrase this?
towards.
Can you let Sam say Nottingham?
Oh, God.
Just once. Nottingham.
No
I'm,
practice.
I'm sorry I had to break that bit up because I was looking back at other videos we were recording and he said not. What do you normally say?
Nottingham.
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 I would say Nottingham.
You're not the only one. I'm so sorry, Danny, to break that intro up, but I had to do that.
That's fine.
What? Okay.
All right. Finally, we have Hannah from Cardiff as well joining us. So, obviously, we've all been kind of in touch throughout the past couple of days. We know why we're all here, but just for everybody at home who's obviously not aware of what we're doing today. So, we've decided to get together and do a little bit of a reaction to that infamous article that's come out this past week. I'm not going to name names for two reasons. One, I don't want to give them any credit, and two, I don't want to be done for slander. So we'll just swiftly move past what the article is. But we all know what we're referring to, and as the questions fire out, everybody at home will understand. So I've spoken to a few of the female fans at Blaze Game last Sunday. Got some instant reactions from them. Rereading the article earlier today, I would say that a lot of female fans have come out and said on social media, TikTok, other forms of interactiveness. Reddit has seemed to have blown up. I've never been on
Yeah.
Reddit, but I found that
Yeah.
today. There seems to be a lot of misrepresentation, misreferenced on what the quotes were. But we'll start with you, Kate. And like I say, anybody's got anything they want to add in, far away. What stood out most to you from when that article came out? What was the first thing? And I think I already know the answer because you touched on it before we started recording. What was the first thing that hit a nerve with you?
Yeah, I mean, straight off the bat, it's cold February. I'm in a dilapidated ice rink in Manchester. That's my dilapidated ice rink in Manchester. And frankly, there's nowhere I'd rather be. So that really bothered me. Also, just the little details, all 45 minutes before the get 40. Oh, the lights were dimmed. No, they weren't. Not during warm-ups. No, they weren't. It just really immediately rubbed me up the wrong way, you know. And then it started. They came out and started gyrating, and it's like, why are we narrating this? Like it's a weird mating call, nature documentary. Like it straight off the bat, it rubs you up the wrong way as a hockey fan, doesn't it?
I
That's what
think,
stood out for
Kate,
me
that
immediately.
article was written to rile people up to get this reaction. I'm convinced that that's the case. I really am. Because it's got so
Mm,
much publicity, hasn't it, from that.
yeah,
I was
I
Googling, I was
mean,
like, right, what is her deal? What is she about? I want to know.
I
Yeah.
know.
Sorry, you can, yeah.
It's cool.
No, it's a valid point to bring up, Hannah, and I
Yeah.
agree. And I can only say from a male perspective and a former youth player myself, gyrating on the ice really rubbed me up the wrong way as a male because that's a good stretch. That's
I'm
every
good.
player I've ever seen has done that stretch, and I only did that stretch because I watched former players from when I was younger, when I first got into the game, the likes of your Neil Martins, your Sean Johnsons from a Blaze perspective, your Wade Belaks, gyrating on the ice as she calls it, but it's
Is
just
that a
not.
negative word though? I don't know, because I've just looked up the meaning of it and it says move or cause to move rapidly in a circle or spiral. That seems like legitimate
I think it's just the context
English for what it is. Yeah, but it's the context, isn't it? You're
Yeah.
right.
There's
Yeah.
a sexual connotation with that,
Yeah.
and you can tell that that's what she's getting at, and that's what bothers me.
I think it comes from book talk. So I was saying before, I'm kind of in a bit of a unique position in that obviously I come to the hockey and I'm a big hockey fan, but also because I'm a writer, I'm on book talk a lot. So the algorithm obviously has been sending all this stuff to me for quite some time. So one of the things that I have this thing where, like, I don't think that anyone should be shamed for the idea. If we've got women who are coming along to the games and the icebreaker has been their gateway drug into it, then I'm like, so what, in a way, because they might come and stay for the game and really enjoy it and actually realize there's more to it than that. But there has been this thing. She's got that idea from. There are hundreds of videos on TikTok that pop up, and it is right, all the things that she mentions in it. So the idea of, we're at the Boy Aquarium, and they do film, like, it's always been a thing of mine where I just think, like, it'd be like someone coming to my yoga class, filming me doing a down dog, and then posting it everywhere without my consent, and making suggestive comments about it. And I think it does have. I think that's one thing that has to absolutely stop, because, like you say, it's basically just objectifying these poor players, and they're just trying to do a job at the end of the day, come and warm up so they don't get injured. But yeah, that is a thing, and I think that has been. I think that is one of the issues. Is that, and she's probably got that idea. Is that a lot of fans of that book are objectifying the guys. Yeah, so I think that's where she's got that idea from. But again, it's that idea, isn't it, where she's clearly watched all these TikTok videos and then gone, never, I'm assuming, having never really gone to a game before.
But on that, Jen, you must have seen the other side of book talk, where it pretty much objectifies anyone that's a character in a book.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah.
So it's difficult, isn't it, to try and differentiate, because, like you said, the yoga thing. If I go to Aldi and I fancy someone who checks out, does that mean I'm objectifying retail workers?
Yeah.
Because I write about that in my book. It's really difficult, isn't it, to try and segregate, like, who's legitimately enjoying an experience because they're a fan of something and enjoying a pastime.
Book talk's really interesting as well, because there's all sorts of, like, subgenres of romance. So, there's loads of cowboy romance.
Yeah.
Things. And I think ice hockey romance has just been this subgenre of it. And I think, like I say, in a way, I think it's, introducing new fans to the sport is great. Danny, we were talking the other night, and I was saying about, these are your fans that are going to buy merch, right? They're going to invest money. They're going to buy everything up, which is great if it's bringing more money into the sport so that we can get, equipment and various other bits, then brilliant. But yeah, I think, again, it's that thing as well, isn't it, of just the whole of that article was just so sexist, this idea that maybe we've never seen a hot man before and we're all rushing there to go and watch them. And
that's the point, I think, isn't it, that it was sort of calling out that that's the only reason why women go to these things. And on the note, I've had because the books I write are specifically British ice hockey, because I spent so long reading hockey romances that didn't have a lot of hockey content. That frustrated me. Or one I read, I won't name the author, but it specifically called out, we don't have ice hockey in the UK. And literally that one line, I was thinking, no, we absolutely do. I'm going to do something with this. And again, I've had people message me saying, I went to my first game because I read your books, I absolutely love it. And I don't think they're any less of a fan because they found it that way. And I've also had people messaging me that have been a fan for as long as I have, probably longer, 20 odd years or whatever. But again, it's like, I really, I guess, relate to your books because it's more of an experience I'm familiar with rather than the North American scene where, college hockey, etc. I think it's just about creating that, isn't it, that experience that's personal to people, and everyone has their own story of why they got into the sport, what they love about it. And I think that article, should we say, just highlighted all the negatives and didn't talk about it. Was sort of a one-sided opinion piece, wasn't it, that I don't think it should be.
I think as well thing about the book saying that there isn't a lot of talk about UK hockey. In the UK, hockey's literally the 5th most popular sport watched.
That's why I was fuming, Dan. I was like, I can't be having this.
Sorry, Sophie was going to say something as well. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think one of the issues that I have with that article is it implies that women can't tell the difference between fact and fiction. Like I can read I will say for the most part, most of the hockey romance books that I have read, I haven't massively enjoyed because of the things that we've already discussed about it being kind of quite wildly inaccurate. But you can read that and enjoy it and go to a game and know that those players are not the people in the book. Like you can read a fantasy book and then not be out looking for dragons on your next dog walk. Like it's that kind of thing of, it was just that suggestion that we can't tell what's real and what isn't. And I think the very end of that article says something like, oh, well, if you don't kind of flesh these characters out in your head, it's just watching people on the ice hit a puck. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's why I'm there, is to watch that bit. That's the bit I care about. I don't, in the nicest way possible, I don't really care that much about the players outside of the rink. I want them to be playing the game for my team and winning. That's why I'm there.
Yeah. That was the bit that stuck out to me most out of the article at the end, where it was like, unless you just like inferring that women as a whole, unless we've come up with like a rich backstory for these people that we know nothing about, that we simply cannot enjoy the game as is, because it's just men chasing a target through empty space, I think were the actual words.
Yeah.
But basically that's most sports. But then it kind of does, I think, ice hockey a disservice as a whole, because that's not what, okay, it is a bit what it is, because we are watching them chase a puck down the ice, but like there's way more to it than that. It's fast paced, there's the adrenaline. It, like my heart is literally racing when we get to the end of like the third period and there's like maybe one goal in it. And, you know, it's that kind of whole excitement and feeling behind it. It isn't just watching men chase a puck through empty space. And I don't have to have invented a backstory in my head about Matty Robson or whatever to enjoy watching him play the game. Like, I don't.
People do that? Is that a thing? Is that because I stopped reading the article, I must admit. So
it's the last
is that
line.
What's implied?
It's the very
It's
last
her final
line.
line.
And I think that says more about her than the women who go to these games, because that just tells me you don't know this sport, you don't understand this sport, and you are projecting your neutrality towards this sport and the fact that maybe you want to fill your experience of the sport with your fantasies about Mitch Fossier onto the women who like this sport. And that's, keep it yourself.
What I can't get my head around, if this is the case, if women are doing this, as she's saying, they're padded up, for Christ's sake. Everyone's so what are you
can't see anything of them. No.
I can find it, but I know quite a few lads around the rink that are more googly.
This guy's doing it as well, 100%.
I can name 3 or 4 lads.
I can't see shit. So, and you know, you can't, even if you're like trying to stare at a goalie, you can't see nothing.
No.
So this is where I get really confused by that article. But from my personal stand, thinking, what are you seeing? I'd love to know what you're seeing then. With all
they've got the old Superman glasses on, X-ray vision.
It's crazy.
Well, one thing I noticed is she didn't actually mention anything about the game itself. It was just the warm-up.
Yeah.
And a little bit about Fossier scoring that winner in OT. There was no actually the game was electrifying.
Oh, that was probably a Google later, wasn't it, to add something on? What was the...
What was the playoffs?
Well, she said she was at
About half of the
playoffs.
game.
She said she was at playoffs, and I'm like, how did you? Unless you were at the like Sunday morning game, which is very boring. Like, how did you sit through any of those games? And that's what you took away from it, not all of the actual intensity, like all of the rivalry, the community. How on earth did you miss all of that if you were at playoffs? Because that's probably the most obvious statement of our community in the game.
Not even just that.
Double overtime as well. It was just exciting.
Exactly.
You know, the only times a playoff final has gone double overtime, and it was all about one guy who scored, who was wooing the crowd. Like, what about the game?
I still don't want to talk about it, if I'm honest. I'm still not over it. I really don't. I really don't.
For us.
That's the thing, right? It put me in a mood. It put me in a mood for 2 weeks, like literally. And that's how that's how emotional I get, and I think that's testimony. I just finished watching the Dallas Winnipeg game. We watched it the day after,
Yeah.
and Dallas like they were 5-1 up, and then the last 2 minutes it was 4-5, and I was just like, I can't watch. I literally can't watch. I feel sick, and I'm still like, oh my God, it's over, it's fine. But now I'm still like feeling that, and like, you know.
But this
I think anyone can say that, can't they? It's in the field, like it's
how we feel as fans.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
What you ever put on this article. This is how our emotions play.
We're emotionally invested, 100%. Yeah,
invested. We love the sport that much, and we do have an understanding to it. And you know, it goes to show, like when we were talking, I don't know if we pressed record when we said it, but with Laura's face on that poster, on the Nottingham Panthers poster, she was fuming if looks could kill.
And the thing is I'd had it was because the fans that were stood next to me had absolutely deafened me in like the last minute of the game, which is fine because they've won and they're cheering, and we'd had
they should,
and we'd had lovely conversations with each other beforehand.
Yeah, we're having a bit.
Like we were chatting all around the rink and like talking about this and that with each other, which is another thing that I love about it, and I'm sure we'll come on to this like a bit later into the episode. But like you can stand there with those fans and just have a conversation, and nothing bad happens except that they might deafen you at the end when they win, which is I think more so what that face was about.
Yeah,
and a little bit because we lost. But
that's through that sport alone, because you go to a football game, as Luke would probably know, with a Villa game against certain teams.
Yeah,
the rivalry is so toxic.
Terrible.
It's tribal. It's a different type of atmosphere. It's very tribal atmosphere.
And Sam, you still go to the football. You know, you travel to bloody Torquay. Travels to Torquay to watch.
Again, though, it's a completely different environment down at the level I watch to the Premier League. If you go to the Premier League, like I said, it's tribal. You know, we hate the opposition. You don't get that in hockey.
No,
it's a friend.
Only on the ice. You hate them while they're on the ice, but it's a thing, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Fans' point of view from like hockey and football, like I feel so safe at a hockey game.
It is. As long as I've been watching, Luke, it's been like that, and that's something I'm really proud of as sort of to be part of in the sport.
Like I can go in there and like when I went to Manchester away, we got told to move on because we couldn't stand where we were going to stand. That's cool, and we stood behind the net, and I had Manchester fans here, Manchester fans there. And they could hear me whinging when we were losing the puck easily, and the D was all over the place. And I was proper whinging and thinking, come on, lads, this is sloppy play. I had them looking at me and having a little sniggle about it, having a little giggle, thinking it was hilarious. But, you know, you can't do that in football, because if that was in football, that is going to kick off. But I looked at them laugh. I was laughing back thinking, you know what, we're all here because we support our team.
I think you separated as well in football, don't they?
Yeah.
Like tend to anyway, yeah.
Safe in that moment, because at the end of the period, the Zamboni came on, and then I thought, you know what, let's have a little giggle at the Zamboni, shall we? And then they gave me a little banter back. And it was backwards, but it was really friendly banter to the point where we were laughing at each other's jokes. You know how we played, we joked about how we played, we joked how, and you still feel safe. You can leave the arenas feeling that you can go back to your car safely. Where I've been to football games where, being a Villa fan and playing against Birmingham, or I've been the best experience I could literally say when it comes to feeling unsafe in a football game. I've been to a game where a steward has offered a fight to one of my family members, and I'm thinking, you're a steward, your job is to keep everybody safe. And then I've been to a game at Villa playing Wolves away. I got someone spat on my shoulder. There was a police officer right next to me, and I was like, that's technically assault, mate. Police officer just turned his head away and was like, hey, whatever. I was thinking, you're a police officer, so come on. But never mind that, but it's still, in that moment, I felt, it's intimidating, but I felt a little bit unsafe because I could go to the car and easily probably get my head kicked in. But I can gladly say I've been to Nottingham away. I've been to Manchester away. We've been to, we've even been to Sheffield where, and we always say it, don't we, Sam?
Oh, I know where this is going.
When we beat them 6-0, the other night we beat them we beat them again with that shutout. But still, that 6-0, whatever, it was brilliant to the fact that they started giving a bit of banter to us, but it was still to the point where they were obviously upset by it, but
Mm.
there was nothing there to the point where we were like, this is going to really kick off now. It
Yeah.
didn't, because there's no place for it.
I
You
think
go
we've
back
been
to the playoffs.
going probably Luke and I for the best part of 12 years, have we now, to the ice hockey, Coventry Blaze and various different teams.
Yeah, we used to go.
And there's probably been one incident in the entire time that I've been going to matches that I've thought, I don't like that. And that was in the Coventry Blaze car park. I think we'd lost to, I'm not going to say the team because I don't want to call the fans out.
Yeah.
But we were trying to get out of the car park and they were all running at our car, shouting and swearing. That wasn't very, like banging the car, and that wasn't very nice. But that's the only experience I've had really in that entire over a decade where I've thought, I don't like that, which says a lot really, doesn't it? Like over a decade of matches, and that's the one incident that I've thought, no.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I go to games with my mum, who's in her 60s, and she won't mind me saying that she's a very anxious woman. And this past season, there's been a lot of clashes with my own games and my boyfriend's games, and so she's gone on her own. And she is so happy to go on her own. I wouldn't dare send my mother to a football game on her own. Oh my God, she'd have a heart attack.
I was going to say something similar because I do have certain groups of friends, and some of you guys who are also my friends, but I have various different kind of groups of friends that I go with. But there have been, before I met a lot of you guys, there'd be times when they couldn't go, and I will happily go to a game by myself. I would travel on the train by myself. It's that thing as well of like coming out afterwards, and like sometimes it was standing on the platform late at night on my own, like waiting for the train. But I'm always like clocking fans as well, because I'm like, if anything did happen, I feel like I would be okay and I would be safe, even though they're complete strangers. And I've just made lots of friends by going there as well now, like I say, and I've never had an issue of ever going by myself to a game. And you're absolutely right, Kate, 100% would never go to a football game, absolutely not. I would feel really uncomfortable, and even getting on the train with football fans sometimes, when I've been down to London or whatever, I just feel really uncomfortable, or I've been harassed before or whatever, and I never feel like that at hockey.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about any other rinks, but I've never seen a police officer outside the Skydome.
No.
Like, it's just not something that the sport has.
No.
It's such a safe environment to come and watch a game. And that's another reason why a lot of people do want to come, because they feel safe and friendly with everybody.
The atmosphere is great no matter where you go as well, I find. I've been to some places where I'm like, where you feel like, okay, is it going to be a quiet atmosphere? Because it can be sometimes, and it still feels like it still feels the vibes are still there, if that makes sense. It makes you still enjoy the game and people cheer. It's just a really good atmosphere, isn't it? Danny, do you want to move on to another question, because I know we've got loads, and I know we can talk about this forever.
Digress as well.
We could keep going. We've branched off into different things, which is great. It's exactly
that's what we wanted.
So obviously we've kind of touched upon it in a little bit, and like your opinions and what you'd like to do. But I suppose something that stood out for me is obviously, and I think it's because of everybody saying they were misquoted, misrepresented, or just their opinion. Like, I think somebody I read on Reddit had said they gave this I won't say the name, this author, this writer, like a load of what they do at games and what their like game night consists of, and how in depth they get into it as a fan. And she said that was completely like not taken at all. There wasn't even 1 ounce of it like put into the article. So I suppose if you had all your opportunities, obviously we've got 2 authors with us, so this is a great way of doing this. Hannah and Jen, I'll put it towards you two, and you can kind of brainstorm together. If you had to write this article from an actual hockey fan's perspective, a female hockey fan's perspective, what would you include? We've kind of touched upon it anyway, but there's obviously going to be stuff that you guys would probably think, I can add that in.
I would Sorry, Jen, do you want to?
You go. I've already spoken way too much.
I would include 100% the stuff that I would want to read. That's when I write my fiction, I write what I want to read, and I've written a few articles for like Chasing the Puck and stuff, and I always want to read. If we got like a new player in, the first thing I do, who's that? I'm going to look on Elite Prospects. I want to find out where they've been, what their sort of points average is, what sort of player they are, if they defense, what type of a defenseman they are. It's so much, right, that you could dive in just on one player. I wrote like a piece on like Mira Heiskanen. But if I was writing that sort of article of a match night experience, I'd be talking about the actual experience. So I'd be looking at, right, if I was there to support a team, which I wouldn't be if I was writing an article, I'd be looking at both teams. I'd be looking at, right, from a fan's perspective, who's the key player that they're watching, because it tends to be, if start of a new season, I guarantee you, if I ask everyone on this call, they'll have at least one player in their mind that I want to see how that player is going to be doing for the rest of the season. I'd be asking people that. I'd be looking at potentially score predictions. That's quite a good one. As an opinion piece, someone's always got something to say about it. Everyone likes to talk about their rivalries as well. I'd be asking what the feeling is with that particular game. What sort of history has that of those two teams got? There's loads of stuff that doesn't even go into someone gyrating on the ice. You haven't got to mention that, have you? And I'm just thinking, like, this 3 periods, even if you just picked sort of five top things from each period, there's more than enough to write about, isn't there, for a standard article, easily.
And even if you want to do a story on the impact of hockey romance on ice hockey, you can do it without it just becoming
maybe we should do one, Jen.
Drivel.
Maybe we should pull together and do one. 100%. Why not? Like, there's no reason, is there? We could. I wouldn't want it to go to the FC though, because so many people messaged me afterwards and was like, "Oh, I've written in a letter," and everyone had the same generic reply, which I don't really think is acceptable, to be honest, because everyone had something different to say. So they haven't considered that response. And I think someone told me, because I try and keep off it, to be honest, because I get really riled up. They changed the name of the article. One of my friends is a Glasgow Clan fan, and I tried to get her to do another podcast with me, but she's too shy. But she's like, yeah, they changed the name, it made it worse, sort of thing. And she's, we were talking about it, and I was just like, okay, how does that make you feel as a person that goes? Because I think, if you take gender out of the question, what does it make you feel as a person that supports British ice hockey? That's what it goes down to, doesn't it? Because I guarantee everyone's annoyed about that for a different reason or whatever, and we can talk about that. But
yeah, I was going to say, this is the thing, isn't it? Is the answer to the question of, what does a woman get out of it, exactly the same as a guy who goes and watches.
Exactly, yeah.
The same reasons. That's why we're there, because it's really visceral, it's exciting. You can be like, I don't know, 3 down at the end of period 2, and then all of a sudden, everyone's fortunes can change.
It's so unpredictable, isn't it? Anything can happen, and that's why I love it.
We know about that, don't we, Hannah?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, we do. I said to you, I'll come on if you do not mention that game. if nobody mentions last weekend, it wasn't the result anyone was hoping for from Cardiff side, obviously.
We've got to play them on Saturday.
Yeah, you know what.
It won't be the other way around on Saturday.
And I saw as well, Joey Martin's back, so I don't know what impact that's going to have, but we'll see.
He's going to score.
We'll see. It'll also be interesting as well from Sophie's point of view on this, because obviously I know the question is about from the author's point of view, but I know Sophie, I've been following Sophie for a while actually through Blaze World's TikTok channels, and every time I scroll, I always see something related with Nottingham Panthers constantly, and it just randomly it just caught my eye, thinking I'm actually gonna, instead of keep scrolling past it, I was curious to see your content, and I actually find it really engaging. I find it really interesting, even from a commentary fan. I find it like everybody knows, the lads know this. I have a soft spot for Nottingham, and they're our rivals, and that's crazy. Who says that in another sport? If I was a Villa fan and I said, I actually have a soft spot for Birmingham, I might get my head kicked in a little bit. But me and Laura are very guilty. Like, some people give me a lot of banter for this, and I have no shame in it. Me and Laura used to go and watch watch Coventry for many years, and then I've known shame in saying I had mental health issues. I got really bad anxiety. I stopped going to the hockey for a bit because the crowds was a bit too much. then we moved house and we were a little bit closer to Nottingham. And then I just said to Laura, like, I'd like to go and watch Nottingham play. Do you fancy it? And me and Laura went to go and watch Nottingham. And we only went to, like, people give me banter, like thinking we're die-hard fans. But we went to what, 3 or 4 games in the total of the whole season. And the atmosphere was great. But then I was talking about my mental health. I was thinking, bloody hell, if I struggle going to the Blaze, this crowd's, it's a massive crowd to go to Nottingham. And obviously I'm restricted because I have to be seated. And we end up going back to Coventry just because I felt the fact that I just could stand behind the net. I felt comfortable in the situation. And yeah, I do still, even though because I've watched a couple of their games, I still felt, there's times where I do feel like a little bit of a soft spot for him. And some guy was giving me a bit of banter about it a few days ago. Oh, he's beloved Panthers fan. And I'm thinking,
can I just say who I've got a soft spot for?
Oh, go on.
I absolutely love Scorch, right? And I hate mascots, right? I hate them. I always have. Anything with, because it could be anyone underneath, right? But at the playoffs, they do that whole mascot thing, don't they? And I was like, right, I want to photo with Scorch. So I got one, and then I started to boo towards Steeler Dan, and everyone joined in. It was brilliant. It was all for good. But yeah, everyone was like, boo, Steeler Dan, everyone was like, but it's all good fun, isn't it? It's all good fun.
Exactly, that's what it's about. And I do have a soft. I still do, and I have no shame in saying it. I always look at. I've got one of my friends who I play ball hockey with. She's a really one of my closest friends, and she's a die-hard Panthers fan. She travels, doesn't she, Laura? Everywhere.
Yeah.
She will go to fight. She won't care. She will go no matter what. And that's what I always look out for them, because not only that, because my friends, quite a lot of my friends do follow them. So going back to that, so if I do engage with your context, I find it actually very interesting, from a commentary fan. So it'd be interesting to take on your take to what Danny's question there. Like, if you were doing like social media, like you do, if it was you doing a social contact media on the article, what would you do about that as well? It'd be kind of, could flip it a little bit.
Yeah, I think I spoke to the person who ended up writing that, but I was nothing that I said made it in, because it didn't really fit the narrative of what they were trying to do there. But I really try and make it my aim to focus on the community element of the hockey and how welcoming it is for new fans, because that was the thing that really sold it for me. As a sport, I was not very sporty pre-finding hockey. I didn't really care. I come from a very football-centric family, and that is just not the atmosphere for me at all. And that's why I started making videos, was because I was like, people must know. People need to know how amazing it is and how welcoming it is. So I think I try and do that as much as I can in my content, to kind of let people know how amazing it is and how welcoming people are to new fans. I think it's very rare in sport, from what I've experienced. I can only speak about really from the football side of things, but if I ever ask my brothers a question about the football, they're like, oh, shut up, why don't you know that? Oh, you're so stupid. Like, that might just be brothers being brothers, but it's that kind of like, how are you not born with this innate knowledge of it? Whereas at the hockey, people are like, oh my God, let me tell you. And then this happens. And then they do, like, everyone's so down for just telling you stuff and letting you know, and, giving you all the kind of insight into stuff. They're so welcoming of new fans. So I think that's really what I like to focus on. As well as just like, there's so much that you could write about that linked to something even remotely financial. They tried to sell this thing of like Hockey Romance rescued
that why,
and the half rinks, the half full rinks, which is just not true.
That was one thing that I noticed, and especially the fact that watching your platform as you built it from being a fan, I noticed how they soloed that little comment that you had for it, and it completely dismissed anything that you had like on your platform. It was just like,
there's a dog barking, sorry.
They took whatever great information you've given them and just twisted it in a way where it's like,
what did they, can I know what that was? Because I'm intrigued now.
It was like I
Did
think it
they?
was. I think you passed like a jersey or something that had Fossier on it, and you were like in trying to engage her into the actual hockey, and then it just felt like there was the straight line for it, and then all of a sudden it just went complete left turn and
Oh.
focused more back on the romance thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this actually about? This article just makes no sense. It's just gobbledygook.
Oh, so did they twist your words, Sophie? Or
No,
did they
no,
not?
it wasn't. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
me. But they're like, I think a lot of the people who were interviewed, yeah, it kind of they
Yeah, okay.
they all said very similar things of like, we were trying to tell her how amazing the community is and how wonderful everyone is and how exciting the sport is, and that was the only thing that ended up being focused on. So I think that's where like a lot of frustrations
Yeah,
come
I
from it. And
see.
yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
singling Fossier out like that is.
Hmm.
I don't think I felt a cringe quite like reading that article. I was like, oh my God, that poor man has been like, like you were
Oh,
saying
it's like the
earlier, Jen.
Wenberg thing. Do you remember that as well? The
It
Adam
just,
Wenberg thing. That was
yeah,
just ridiculous as well. It's like, just leave him alone. Like, he's just trying to live his life.
yeah. And like
Like
Jen
he's-
was saying earlier, if you've got, I also teach yoga, and I can't imagine anything worse than stumbling across something on the internet of me
Yeah.
warming up and
Yeah.
to like sit there and show him all of those
Mm.
is just such a bizarre
Mm.
move when there's so many things online that she could have shown him that were like, oh, look at all these like Nottingham Panthers fans who like come to the games every week, and or here's someone like breaking down your play, like, don't you think that's interesting? Like, there's so many things out there that are far more interesting than the videos that objectify the men.
Yeah, I
And she
think
knows that.
become
Because she-
kind of a really unwitting poster boy for hockey romance, hasn't he? Like,
Yeah,
through
bless him.
absolutely no fault of his own, for just existing and
Yeah.
being in this article. It's like, oh, suddenly who's Mitch Fossier and why is everyone talking about him and blah blah blah. And he's just kind of become a really unwitting poster boy for it, and he's not even done anything to really elicit that. He's just
They could have
existed and done his job.
Colton Sauceman, couldn't they? Come on with that.
We all know how
That's
you
your
feel about
gushiness,
Colt
that is.
Sauceman.
But
If they want to talk about the women, at the players at the start of the game, this is me with Colton Sauceman. Yeah, buddy, come on.
Oh yeah, I think the men are worse.
Plexiglass
Men
that
are
got
worse.
through. It's like they were saying it's a siren call for people banging
Yes.
on the plexiglass. And they're thinking, that's not a siren call, that's us just chanting, that's us being emotional towards the game, investing into our players.
It's what we do. It's what we do. 100%.
The actual
I mean,
quote.
there's a little bit that me and Luke do during like after the second period where we start like pretending we're making smoke signals out of our Apple tickets. And it's just that little random thing that we do. Like, does that consider as a siren call? We're literally smoke signaling for someone to come towards us.
The actual
one of-
quote, just before we go off, sorry, just because obviously, Hannah, was it you that said you wanted to know what the actual quote was?
I know. I feel really guilty enough for not reading it, but also I'm glad I haven't read it all. It's like,
not worth it.
I found it because I still had it on my phone.
I was
just
fuming.
because-
I was like, no, can't do this.
It says, I don't know if this is you, Sophie. She just says, Sophie, a 28-year-old
me.
Fossier devotee I spoke to over the phone, said she was simply drawn to Fossier because of his sweetness. He just seems like a proper gentleman off the ice. What makes him a cinnamon roll.
Oh,
Can
okay.
you imagine actually a fan
That's the old
saying
trope,
those
isn't
words?
it? It's the old trope.
Yeah, it's a real hot. It's a romance book trope. It is also not me. I wish I was 28. I am very much 30. But I think it's also frustrating now because I'm like, well, Fossier is actually one of my favorite players, and now is this like any woman that's got a favorite player, are they now lumped into this thing of like, oh, you must fancy them? Like, no. I just think
Well, you
he's a
might,
really great
but
player.
that's nothing. That's nothing to do with it, is it?
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
and you can fancy them. Like,
absolutely.
if you want to fancy them, fine. But I feel like most people do know the line of like, well, I
Yeah.
won't cross
Yeah,
into making
absolutely.
it weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like that article really like didn't give that kind of disclaimer of like people generally know the line and know not to cross it, and that's why our league is so good, is that we have great fan interaction because people, for the most part, don't cross that line.
Yeah.
She made it weird, and she knows that because she said that she left that interaction feeling embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what I was
She
going to
knows
say.
she's being weird.
Yeah.
That's the next part I was going to bring up, where she actually interviewed him, and he was like, "What?" He didn't know anything about the books, nothing. He hadn't. I think the quote was something like, "Your TikTok for FYP page is different to mine."
Your algorithm's
Clearly,
different than
that's your
mine.
algorithm, yeah, whatever. But not just like the fact that she's singled out the female fan base. She's tried to pitch the male and the female fan base against each other. Because I've literally, obviously, I'm on the article. I've scrolled down. Over the past few years, as women have begun to go to ice hockey matches, there have been backlash from the established fan base. So if you're saying that there was no females before because there's been a 60% uptake in female tickets, that's what she's quoted on the article. So you're saying there's a lot of male fan bases already, male orientated fan bases. That tells me you're trying to say that the males have gone, "Rah, no, we don't want females in our sport." I've never seen that. And literally talking to the females I did last Sunday when cause I volunteer down at the Blaze, so I get there a little bit earlier than most people. I speak to some of the female volunteers. I said it on our reaction to the action on Sunday after the game. I could probably count 15 females that were in our organisation in a professional capacity or a volunteer capacity. And I just think most of these are very knowledgeable. They're there because they want to be there. They're not there because they can get access to the players easier or whatever. They do it because they want to be involved in the sport in some way, shape, or form and capacity. And what really irked me as a male fan, reading the article briefly last week when it first kind of hit the kind of social media platforms, and then more so as the week's gone on, I've digged a little bit deeper into it. It's just saying that because you're a female, you're automatically a puck bunny. And I just think, no. Like most male fans, like we've already alluded to here, Luke Resourceman is a bit of a gushiness there. There's one lad that
just hope
sits
he isn't
where
going to be creeped out if he ever sees this.
I'm just gonna get it out there. But where my dad sits in the Sky Dome, there's a lad not far away from him, and I'm not going to name names, but we all know who it is. He for the past however many seasons prior to this season sponsored one player, and the way he spoke about him in social media forums, Discord, and whatever, it was kind of weird and creepy. Like he was best mates with this guy, but then when you'd speak to the player, like I say, I help out volunteering, he didn't have a clue who he was, and it's like he didn't realize what the mixture was between reality and what he'd made up in his head. So it's not just females, if that or not that females do it, but it's not just females that make up these fantasies. There are males that do it as well, and I think that annoyed me as well. That you were just singling out the females with their, like Sophie, was it you earlier, and Kate, I think you said it. You don't know where that line is, but I know many men that are just as bad, if not worse, and don't
There's
actually
one
know anything about
comment.
I've
sport.
seen examples of that actually.
There's one comment in the article that like very baffled me and confused me because it's also pointing towards the warm-ups again. Is where it says there's half capacity or less than half capacity, and they're thinking people are still coming in. Game hasn't started yet, so how can they make an assessment on that?
Especially if you're like me and you've got 2 kids, you've got to corral out the house. We're lucky if we make face off sometimes, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's like there's still people coming in, you know. It's just part of life, isn't it? You get there when you can get there, and yeah, I'd be annoyed at that.
It's like the other week I went to Sheffield. Now, Sheffield and Nottingham and even Belfast are very similar in that aspect that they've got a concourse where they have a lot of bars and food, beverages and whatever stalls. Pretty much during warm-up, Sheffield Arena when I was in there was empty. Not empty to an extent, but was half full, as we would say, like the article was. But come face off, that was packed out.
People are
Same with
socialising as well because it's a social thing. We certainly do it. We sit by the same people every week, season ticket holders. You get to know them. You have a chat. If you see them at the bar, you're out there potentially 10 minutes chatting, etc. If you go away, I know lots of people from the other team. You know, fans of other teams. You see them, you chat to them. It's a huge social thing as well, isn't it? And there's lots of families that go as well. So it's just
kids want to see the mascot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
TikToks. She loved seeing Scorch the other week. I saw that yesterday. When you put that up, Sophie, you were like 10 out of 10 to Scorch. Paul's will always
He's
be
a
your
good
number
mascot.
one.
I love it.
Yeah, Scorch is very close second at the moment. He was very funny.
Old Scorch was better. I'm just putting that out there.
Was that you?
Might have
No.
Might have been. yeah, it was me. I hadn't done it for about 5 seasons now, but yeah, it was me. But that's why I always say
I probably had a photo with you at some point now, Dan.
if you got a picture of Scorch between 2015 and
100%
before
I
COVID
have.
hit,
Yeah.
then that was me. That was me.
100%, yeah.
But it's
That's
We're in the
sticking out.
presence of royalty.
I know. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
when we talk about other fans, like Sam, for example, Sam comes with his mum and his sister.
Yeah.
So that does that go to them? You know, it's ridiculous, isn't it, Sam?
Well, I didn't even know about the article. My mum sent me a text with the link just saying, "What bullshit is this?" Like,
Yeah.
she comes because she loves the game. My sister comes because she loves the game. They're not ogling players. They're there.
Believe me, the amount of money I spend on hockey, I'm not going just to ogle.
Exactly. It's not cheap.
Yeah,
Why
no.
would you pay all that money to come and ogle players when you could go around streets in town and do it for free?
Walk outside. You'll see some men.
Or just Google, you know.
Exactly.
You
They
don't go
put
to-
highlights
Yeah.
on for free. Watch the highlights if that's what you like, if that's what you're there for. Like, it's crazy the amount of money that all of us fans spend. It has to be something deeper than just finding someone attractive.
Oh, definitely. I think Laura, actually, you said that before. You know, how much money we must spend
I don't even like to think about it.
on games and
On jerseys and
and
sponsors,
jerseys. Yeah, jerseys ain't cheap.
kits and drinks and fuel and parking and all the rest of it. That amount of cash, I am not going there just to look at men. I mean, honestly, like you said, Kate, just go outside. If you want to see a man, just go outside. I live with a man. I'm married to one. I'm sick of them at this point.
Wow. Sorry, Luke.
Hey,
I'm not going there.
why else are we in separate rooms right now?
I mean, we are watching them, but it's for a very different reason than what's written in that article.
Yeah. Like you say, if you want to watch something like that, it's easily accessible. I think Magic Mike's on Amazon if you want to watch it. It's free. Right, and 50 Shades of Grey's on Netflix. Not that I know, but yeah. That's your thing.
Danny, have you got any other? I know you had quite a fair few. Have we touched on anything else? What?
Well, I think we've kind of touched upon it as we've gone, and that's what I wanted. So I had the five questions prepared just in case, but we've kind of woven our way through everything. And sorry for the hand gestures. Just one thing I did want to bring up, and I think it is because I kind of knew it was going to happen anyway, but from my perspective, I expected it. But how did it feel as a female fan seeing the Elite League, Ice Hockey UK, I think Ice Hockey Scotland put something out, NIHL, the league, they put something out, you know, all of them within a matter of 24, 48 hours were just, we do not agree with this article. And you know, to see that as a female, I bet that's just like makes you feel reassured that it's not something that the league agree with. So yeah, your opinions on that, obviously, to see that.
I personally didn't think I needed to see that to already know that I sort of feel valued in as a fan in that environment. I've never had anything untoward happen, you know, because I'm a woman in that environment at all. But I guess it's the case of, oh, great, yeah, they acknowledged that it's a pile of crap. And also, for me, it was seeing the hockey community as a whole come together, men, women, everything, whoever you identify, whatever. Everyone coming together and just being like, yeah, this is not something we agree with. Mm-hmm. And that in itself was just testament, I think, to what Sophie said, the community that we have and how strong I think it is. It's probably getting stronger, as time's going on as well. So, testament to that, isn't it?
Heartening to know that people don't think that, but also that's never been the vibe that I've got from
people. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, walking around the rink, I have never got a vibe from any of the men or anyone else there at all that they think I'm there for some reason other than to watch the game. Like, I've never had that feeling or comments made to that extent by anybody. I've always been made to feel extremely welcome, and I know that if Luke didn't go, that I could probably just go there on my own and feel perfectly fine with it. Like, people around the rink know me. People know me by face. The stewards know me. The mascot knows me. And a lot of people, even if I'm just...
The ex-mascot knows you.
People, if I'm walking to the bar on my own, are like, are you all right? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Luke's just over there, we're sound. And like, I've never got the feeling that anybody thinks, well, she shouldn't be here because she's only here to watch so-and-so because he's a pretty boy or whatever. Like, I've never had that vibe off anyone, ever.
No. Well,
it really surprised me, actually, that so many statements were made. I kind of didn't expect it. I kind of just thought well, here's this thing that's come out. It's obviously a load of rubbish. It's obviously written by someone who doesn't really get it. Let's just brush it off. And we've seen it before when hockey's been in the news for negative reasons, and people who don't know the first thing about hockey have something negative to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a community, we're quite good at being like, you don't know what you're talking about, go away. So it really surprised me, actually. But I'm actually kind of glad that it all happened, because I feel like it's brought all of us together. Like, I'm seeing people take it and run. I'm seeing merchandise. I'm seeing, people are really doing what they want with it and get really creative. And I just think it's, as Sophie said, like it's the community at the end of the day. And when something like this does happen, it's just such an opportunity for us to show, actually, no, that's not what we do here, and we're not going to stand for it. And it makes us stronger at the end of the day. So,
yeah.
Absolutely. And you think as well, that article where they were trying to sort of polarize men against women as well, and you think that it's actually had the opposite effect.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. Where, like you say, every aspect, every person of the community is kind of coming together with it and saying, actually, no, we don't agree.
It did make me feel slightly conscious, though, about my book, because I was just thinking, people are going to think now that I'm writing this to objectify, and that's absolutely not the point. And I'm really conscious about it still, and I'm just thinking, actually, if anyone wanted to come and ask me why, like I've mentioned it here, I wanted to give an authentic take to the hockey experience I live, and it's not done to objectify anyone. And I would hate to think that, it's horrible, isn't it? I got this anxiety about it now that it's just, yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. I remember you messaging me because someone bought me the book, and I didn't realise quite exactly what the content was. And I'd been initially was posting it going, I'm on like page 25 and there's no hockey. Now I'm on page 100.
Oh yeah, and I was like, yeah, there's no hockey in that book.
There's no hockey in that book. Don't bother.
I know, which sounds awful, because obviously there's a place for that, but if you're reading it for the hockey content, which I certainly would be, I was disappointed. I was waiting. I was like, what's going on? There's not even a scene. There's not even. But anyway, yeah.
Like I said, the person who bought it for me as well, I think had a bit of a shock. I don't think they realised. They were just like, oh look, there's this lovely book in the works. It looks like an ice hockey book. Jen'd be well into that.
Yeah.
Imagine the
horrors. One of the things that you have had like a really good love for hockey, where like some people make crochet characters and stuff like that and books for yourself. And I feel like that's because you invest and love so much of that game that you want to make your own little creation towards it to show, like, because you made me enjoy this so much, I want people to enjoy it how I've enjoyed it.
Precisely. Well,
that's the same as this podcast, isn't it? We do it for the we're the fans, and we do it for the fans, and we take it that seriously, where we spend time trying to get to know the players a little bit more, and we interview them, and we the reason why we do the player interviews really is so fans get to see a different side to the player. That's
Are they allowed to do podcasts just out of interest? Because are they allowed to do podcasts?
Yeah,
openly?
Yeah.
Because I was speaking to Evan Mosey because he did a podcast back in the off season. And I was speaking to him about it at like one of the fan nights, and he was just like, yeah, we've been told now no more podcasts.
Wow.
Oh, really?
And he said, I was only told like I got away with that one because it was technically in the off season and I hadn't re-signed at that point. So I was sort of, in between.
Yeah, everything.
But
the Blaze.
It's to do with the leadership, I guess, isn't it? And that's their call. Granted, is what they want to do. So yeah.
I suppose each team's got their own thing.
Yeah.
My only thing with that is like
the club know what we do. They support what we do.
Absolutely, yeah. It gives that connection, doesn't it? You feel a bit more like in tune to it, I think.
Club at the end of the day, and us, what we do gets that message out. Hopefully what we do, it influences other people. Like I've got friends who, it's amazing where they've seen and this is no word of a lie, I've had the podcast come out and I've had people like seeing it and then message me personally saying, oh, I might take my family to the Blaze, and I'm like,
yeah, I get that. It's brilliant. It makes you feel really good, doesn't it? It's like, I've got another,
it because they've always done their own thing I never thought they were into hockey, but for them to say, oh, I'm going to take my family to that. Then I've had other friends who have recently started going this season. I've had about 4 or 5 friends who have recently started coming to the Sky Dome, what they've never been to hockey, and now they're totally obsessed about it, and they're
Yeah,
talking about
that's
it.
how most people start, don't they? You just have the
Yeah,
one game
Yeah.
that,
Totally
yeah.
invested
It
by
doesn't take much.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
It's
It
not even
doesn't.
just that. It's like some of the fans that watch the podcast now, where Luke's had interactions with them, I've had interactions with them, and just on the subject of it, some fans even make us like little things
Oh yeah, we got little
just
ducks
to
now.
show
Yeah,
Mm.
Oh,
make
they're
like how much they
cute.
care about the.
I get that. I get like
have you though, Danny?
bracelets made for me and stuff, which is quite cool, isn't it?
I
Like
just want to put it on
hockey.
record. These
Yeah.
3 lads have all had a duck made. I've still not had my duck
I
made.
haven't. I
Oh, Sam
haven't.
not had him. I thought you had.
Scandal.
Oh, Sam, we've got to get on it.
Duckgate.
I'm left out as well.
No, I'm not having it.
We'll start our own, Danny. We'll do our own podcast.
Yeah, we'll do it.
The fan favorites with the little ducks, man. But no, it's still nice, isn't it? From what we do, the reason why we do this is because we want to influence people into the sport and share our passion for what we love, and
And it means the louder rink as well, which is always good, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Yes.
great to fit in the Sky Dome, especially when we do have teams. Like I remember, when was it? New Year's Eve against Nottingham.
Mm.
I love to stand. I literally did the puck drop that night, and everybody. It was embarrassing for me because look at Sam's face already, already smirking because he knows what's coming. I did the puck drop that night, and obviously, like I say, I've got a lot of Nottingham fans who are my friends, and it was sold out Sky Dome, and the atmosphere was absolutely.
I love it.
buzzing.
Yeah.
It was intense, and I did the puck drop, and obviously at the time I literally was in a leg brace, and I had Ollie Betteridge here. I chose Grayson Constable as Martin. I shook Ollie's hand nicely, and then I turned into to Grayson, and I took his finger. Everybody, and it was the most embarrassing thing ever. And these guys would never let it down. Never let it down. Yeah,
You've told us now, so that's and you've just told the podcast world.
Yeah.
And then loads of my mates who were watching the stream who didn't go to the game. Why did you shake his finger? And I was like, oh, I didn't even think.
Oh,
I was just in the moment, shake. And then he went to do an awkward hand, and I was like, yeah, get your finger.
oh.
His finger,
was
and then I could literally it was rammed, and instantly I was thinking, oh my God. I messaged Grayson the next day saying, I'm so sorry about that. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, you're just trying to make me feel better about myself. Most awkward situation ever. But again, the Sky Dome was rammed, and it was and that's what you want, don't you? You want your team to be, full house, and the having all the adrenaline and all the excitement of the game, and that's what we're there for at the end of the day. And it's like not only just what we do, but what we do away from the hockey. Like I know, Kate, you play hockey, I play hockey, and that's how we're passionate about it that much. Where I've just invested in a lot of money to go. I'm going to be a goalie soon, and these guys think it's hilarious. I'm going to go in goal soon. I've invested.
Good Lord. I've seen how much those goalie pads cost.
Yeah. Well,
God help you.
Danny had to go and collect mine mine were like second hand from what was even funnier because it was Sheffield away. We not only beat Sheffield, that guy won the 50-50, didn't he?
Yeah, Blaze fan won the 50-50, like nearly just shy of $5,000.
And then
amazing.
That Sheffield Steelers fan literally gave me those leg pads, and I was thinking, and Danny was like, how much you pay for them? I was like, 100 quid, mate. And you're like, kidding me? I was like, yeah, 100 quid. When they're like 500 quid a piece. It's crazy. So yeah, that's our thing, isn't it? We have a passion for it at the end of the day.
But you can reach out to any fan base and get it.
You wouldn't spend money on something like that, would you, if you weren't invested?
Exactly. That's what we do. We love the sport. That's what we're there for at the end of the day. And that's what we all need to get that message out. Because hockey, and we say also hockey's for everyone. Yeah. That's what it is. Hockey is for everyone at the end of the day. And that's what we always need to stand by and get that message out. And to bring more fans in, more the merrier. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Well, and like Jen said, if you have found it through Book Talk, then, stay for the hockey for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does get the heart going.
Play our final weekend. What other sport would you get all 10 teams like congregate together at one building?
Exactly.
And just watch.
There's no experience like it, is it? It's absolutely
any other sport that's like it.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
great. Like when Nottingham won it, like my friend who goes and she was like sending me videos, and the part of me was like, I don't even, I'm not even going to support Nottingham, but I had FOMO to be, because I want to be in
Mm.
that crowd and celebrating some silverware. Well, that's what we're all there to support the team because we want us to see us be successful. And I had major FOMO. I remember just sitting in bed thinking, this is so not fair. We didn't even make the playoff final, and this so sucks. But that's what it's about. That's what we want to be a part of, and that's the
I
message.
mean, it's not even just that, but like when you go to different stadiums and stuff like that, the amount of fans that say, "Oh, you should try this bar," or "You should try this place,"
Yeah.
whereas if,
Yeah.
like similar again to football, you walk in that wrong bar,
Mm.
you know
walk
you're
out.
not welcomed in there.
Yeah.
Are they shutting? I saw they shutting the spoons by the Sky Dome. Is that true?
Gone.
It's
Gone.
gone.
Yeah,
That went in like July. It's
Oh,
gone.
what's the new haunt
apparently,
then for
um,
pre-game drinks? Just in the Sky Dome itself.
No, nowhere really now, is there down there?
yeah, the
Uh,
windmill, Boxall Moor.
why did they shut that then? Because every time I went, it was like rammed. So
Mm.
it's
According to the reasons, apparently wasn't making enough money.
no,
But it was always rammed.
yeah. Or was it only rammed on match nights?
No, it was busy
Not even
overnight.
normal
Yeah,
nights, it was
okay.
always busy.
That's
I've
disappointing.
I've got my
Oh,
reasons, but I won't say
yeah,
more.
yeah, fair, okay.
But
Because this always seems to be Cardiff, Coventry around like Boxing Day because we came up last
mm,
Boxing Day, and I think this time is you guys with us.
yeah,
But I always love to go Coventry around Christmas. It's because it's the closest one to us because we got really young kids.
Yeah.
And they like to go, but they also get, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Every 5 minutes, it's hard work. So obviously, when they get older, we'll venture out a bit more. But yeah, I'll be looking forward. I'll give you a shout when I come up next. Be good to say hi.
good to see
That's
you.
the
Yeah,
same for everybody.
Yeah,
Like when you come to Coventry,
yeah.
Manchester, Nottingham, Sophie, Kate. If you come to Cov, just come over, like say hi, chill with us for a bit. Danny, you always will see because he's everywhere because he's doing the volunteering. He's either on the ice, in the seating area, walking.
And have you sorted out Checker Pack yet? Because that was chaos last time I was up there. I couldn't even like get a decent. Because I emailed the place. I was like, is it supposed to be like this? And they're like, oh no, actually we need to sort it out. We'll give you sort of complimentary checks next time. But because by the time it ended, I'd only just because you're so busy, which is
yeah, you got
good, you
those
can't
4
get
steps
down
in,
the
yeah.
steps in time. Yeah, so
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
like I
bit
say,
crazy.
if you're at the Sky Dome and you see one of us,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
what block you're in block.
My mum and my sister.
Say again, you broke up then.
Block 1 with my mum and my sister.
That's it. Right
They'll
up
be down by the
side.
side.
And then we always stand behind the net where the away fans are. That's why we're always deafened.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Me and Laura always can be seen because we're right. We like to be close to Crosby's bar, and the atmosphere is great that side. I love it. Absolutely love
Yeah, I agree.
I suppose
Cool.
we've covered everything I had. Like I say, I had 5 questions. We've kind of covered them all as we've gone. So I suppose that's it. We'll all let you have your night back. There's no point keeping you any longer just to waffle on. Like I know I can talk, Luke can talk, and we certainly can. So we don't want you, Hannah. I know what it's like when you've got kids. Once they're in bed, that's your time back. So
This is
you
my
go and
right in
enjoy
time,
yourself.
guys. Thanks, but no, thanks for having us. And Jen, I know you pinged me to invite me along, so thanks for having me. And it's nice to meet everyone as well because I'm
obviously reaching out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen you. I've seen Kate's. That's why I got Kate's. I literally was scrolling through, and then quite a few Blaze fans literally shared Kate's story when you were doing. Was it your mate? Were you doing like your makeup, or you were talking about it, and
Yeah.
in a way,
Get
and then
ready
I
for a
saw
I
game.
only
that.
came
Yeah.
across it because one of my friends posted it on a story, and then it got me feeling. I clicked on it properly and I listened to it, and I was like, "That's so good points. I love it." And then obviously going onto your page, seeing you playing and stuff, I thought, "Oh, that'd be perfect to have this conversation about," because we weren't even going to plan this. It literally, I missed Sunday because I was literally down with a horrible bloody flu cold, thanks to Laura passing it on to me.
Oh,
So I missed the Sunday, and then literally I had to I felt like a proud dad because I obviously I like founded this podcast, and then I got Sam and Danny involved because I really wanted to make it a little bit bigger and have our different views and different opinions. And it was for the first time where I couldn't do a reaction to the action, and I was like worrying, thinking, oh, are we going to still get one done? I literally just left it to them, and like I say, I felt like a proud dad because they smashed it. And Sam brought that up about the article, and it was just like it hit me thinking, that's bang on. We need to do somehow an episode like this. And that's what it got me thinking. Then I seen your story. Then obviously I've been following Sophie for a bit and seeing what she does. And I'm thinking, would it be good to have different point of views from different fans to kind of have this discussion? So yeah, it's been great to have you on here. Really, really appreciate your time. It's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
What do we always say, Danny?
Well, I was just going to do a little bit of a thank you. So thank you to Kate up in Manchester in your cold ice rink, as the article alluded to.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Thanks again to Hannah down in Cardiff, with the kids in bed. You can go and enjoy your evening now. Sophie, just up the M1, obviously in Nottingham. Well, I'm assuming you're in Nottingham. You might be somewhere nearby. I spoke to one fan once and they told me they were in Newark. I was like, what the hell's Newark?
Oh, I know where Newark is. My stepdaughter lives in Newark.
So thank you for coming on. Obviously, Laura, our very own camera lady, for finally making an appearance on the other side of the lens. Yeah. And Jen, our very own author from The Blaze. So thank you all for coming on. I will say one final thing, because if I don't, Luke's going to shoot me after you all jump off the call. So that's for everybody at home. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope you can appreciate, obviously, the opinions of the lovely ladies we've had with us this evening, and those of the 4 groggy men that all look like they need a shave. So give us a comment, give us a like, give us a follow, and enjoy yourselves. Blaze World out.